Feature for August 18, 2025, Preparing Men for Religious Life and Lifelong Growth. A growth mindset embraces opportunities for learning and improving abilities through effort, while a fixed mindset views ability as mostly unchanging. In Viatorian religious life, we strive for this growth mindset, seeing formation as ongoing, something that starts with initial stages, but well into vowed living, never ends. Inquiring and discerning. For discernment, young people who believe God may be inviting them to religious life pray, journal, minister, serve, and eventually engage a vocation director, a religious trained for intentional accompaniment and exploring specifics of religious life. Brother Peter Lamech is a trained vocation minister and just concluded 2 years as director of vocation ministry. He prioritizes exploring discerners' experience in ministry, community, and spirituality. You want to see evidence in their lives that they have the necessary attributes and competencies to show that beginning formation makes sense, Brother Peter said. So vocation ministers from the Viatorians meet discerners for conversations over coffee or meals and may eventually invite them for overnight or week-long stays. The Province Center's House of Discernment space enables experiences of community living and apostolic ministry and service alongside Viatorian professed men, Brother Peter said. It's a small first-hand taste of daily life for a Viatorian brother or priest, and an experience that anticipates pre-novitiate. When the vocation director believes the discerner may be a good fit, he'll invite him to apply for religious formation. The application includes gathering forms and documents, as well as soliciting letters of recommendation, writing a spiritual autobiography, and undergoing behavioral and psychological assessments. The vocation director compiles these materials, writes a cover letter, and presents the candidate to the provincial council. Beginning religious formation. Accepted applicants continue to pre-novitiate. In the U.S., it's usually 1 year, while Colombian Viatorians have postulantes do 2 years. Pre-novitiate includes praying, ministering, and living together with professed men, Father John Eustace, director of pre-novitiate, said. They get to know the inner workings of the community and the lifestyle, while the community encounters these new people considering becoming part of this. For both parties, it's a question of, is this a good fit? The director coordinates this residential experience, including intercommunity formation with women and men peers. The goal is a representative experience of religious life that helps them prepare and discern continuation into novitiate, which they can request next by writing to the provincial alongside the director's evaluation. It's a big step for people to choose to leave where they've been living and move into what may become their long-term lifestyle, knowing it starts with this 1-year commitment, Father John said. Ultimately, it's meant to be a freeing experience. I hope pre-novices will be present to this and not feel pressure to jump ahead into vows or ordained life. The essential stage. The Viatorian Constitution describes novitiate as the period of initiation into religious life, whereby the candidate discerns, with the help of a qualified guide, whether or not he has a vocation to religious life in our congregation. As part of this solemn period, novices are considered part of the community and referred to as brother. It's a concentrated time of learning, discerning, and integrating all the components of a vocation to religious life, Father Pat Render, director of novitiate, said. Novitiate becomes more formal and intensive, incorporating frequent structured times of silence, retreat, and prayer. The formation is anchored in conferences with the director and his appointed presenters on key topics. Novices study Viatorian's communal character, the theology and practical understanding of the vows of poverty, chastity, and obedience, the history and charism of the clerics of St. Viator, the place and mission of vowed life in the life of the Church, and the spirit and character of the lived experience of the province, including association, Father Pat said. Viatorians are asked to be ready to aid the director and engage with the novice. This ensures thorough mutual familiarization. Good discernment on the part of the novice and the director are critical before vows. Aptitude and suitability are measures of that discernment by both parties, Father Pat said. Vows must be a response to God's invitation, and that response needs to be well-informed and verified to the best extent possible. The novice may write to the provincial superior along with the director's evaluation to request to profess first vows. Vowed life and ongoing formation. First vows are temporary, a promise of 3 years of poverty, chastity, and obedience that makes this man a Viatorian religious, a cleric of St. Viator. Brothers may renew these vows for definite periods or request perpetual profession, lifelong vowed commitment to Viatorian religious life. Perpetual profession is a prerequisite to ordination and major leadership roles in the community. Men who discern God's invitation to priesthood, either early in vows or later on, can request theological studies with a view to ordination. Some men will have taken courses earlier in formation that advances their initial standing. Most Viatorians today undertake priestly formation at Catholic Theological Union in Chicago and minister as transitional deacons at a Viatorian parish before ordination to priesthood. In practice, our priests have had anywhere from 5 to 22 years between first vows and ordination. For men who feel open-ended in considering priesthood or called to lifelong brotherhood, ongoing formation remains essential. Their paths are shaped by their gifts and passions and needs they observe in the community and our ministries. Brother Rob Robertson, a lifelong brother, earned a master's in pastoral studies early on. Then, after over 15 years as a teacher and campus minister, a need arose for a school counselor. While it was difficult to leave the classroom, counseling was something I had considered, Brother Rob said. This role would be more challenging as I'd have less daily contact. However, as a Viatorian religious, I believe it's important to see the need and respond. It's part of our call to get out of our comfort zone. Brother Rob began his master's in counseling at Roosevelt University while beginning to work in that role at St. Viator High School. 20 years later, he relishes having served students in a variety of ways. I never know what to expect each day, but my service fulfills the mission of Father Curbs, to reach out to those who may be counted of little importance, Brother Rob said. Students know they have an advocate in me, and giving them an advocate named Brother brings special comfort. Father Giovanni Orduz, an engineer by trade, had partially completed a master's in roads, design, and infrastructure when he began formation. He later returned to finish it and went on to earn a master's of financial management and a master's of divinity for priestly formation, too. His natural ability and interests neatly overlap with ways to serve the community. For example, since Father Giovanni understands architectural, financial, and ministerial components of project designs, he liaises between contractors' technical jargon and the community's wishes. The center of our ministry is spreading the gospel and serving people, yet finances are how the world works, Father Giovanni said. I've helped improve construction processes to clearly define specifications and confirm costs up front. Making our projects and missions sustainable for the future maintains finances to continue spreading the gospel. Brother Peter, now in ordination track studies, long imagined priesthood could be in his future, but felt sure about something else earlier. I was pretty set coming out of novitiate that my immediate invitation from God was to be a teacher, Brother Peter said. While a call to priesthood was there, I sensed an immediacy with teaching. DePaul University's Master's in Education let him live and work at St. Viator High School while commuting for night classes. The curriculum was geared toward social justice and emphasized collaborative approaches and continuing evaluation. It fit perfectly. This definitely helped me take a team approach in vocation ministry as well as in classroom teaching, Brother Peter said. Their emphasis on being a reflective practitioner who continues to learn and develop expertise translates into all areas of my ministry. This growth mindset is ubiquitous in Viatorian religious life. Father Corey Brost holds a law degree, Brother Michael Gosh and Father Tom Long have master's degrees in social work. Father John and Father Dan Leiden earned certifications in spiritual direction. And many men have studied secondary languages to enhance their pastoral presence and ministerial capacities. Moreover, our men hold many theology degrees, including Father Mark Francis, who earned a pontifical license and doctorate from the Pontifical Liturgical Institute of St. Anselm. Formation is not just about education, but our whole religious lives. Learning to love more deeply the Church and the people of God, Father Giovanni said. It's discovering more and more how I can use my gifts to serve others. Every talent God gave you isn't just for yourself, but for service of others.